Hey everyone, I'm doing some research for a new Vegas video that should be out later this week, hopefully. And while I'm doing so, I rewatched a video that gave me a very random epiphany that's going to be the subject of today's video. That being the similarities between Yugoslavia and the new California Republic. Of course, a lot of people draw most comparisons to the US when comparing the NCR to modern countries, and yeah, that definitely fits. However, I don't think it's the only country that's a good comparison to the NCR, as they also share many similarities with Yugoslavia. So without further delay, let's get into that list. Oh, and by modern countries, by the way, I don't mean obviously currently extinct. I mean like within the 1950s to modern era, of course. Okay, so both the NCR and Yugoslavia were founded by a long-serving leader who was in office until their death and acted as a highly unifying figurehead with consistent majority support. Tandy in the case of the NCR, who served for over 50 years, and Tito in the case of Yugoslavia, who served for over 35 years in power. Afterwards, both states faced economic decline with subsequent leaders, more militaristic and expansionist successors, and leaders incredibly bigoted towards their own people. Non-Serbs in the case of Yugoslavia, who were attacked by Serbian nationalists, and super mutants in the case of the NCR, as we see in Jacobstown with those people from the NCR senator who are trying to start a fight and kill the super mutants. Both the NCR and Yugoslavia raised average standards of living compared to what states were in power before them, and both, on average at least, were more prosperous than their neighboring states. It's clearly stated in a game that the average NCR citizen enjoys a better standard of living than their contemporaries, and all stats show on average that most Yugoslavians had better standards of living than several peoples of bordering states such as Bulgaria and Romania, for example. Which, speaking of neighboring states, both tried to annex smaller states bordering them. The NCR is obviously trying to annex New Vegas and follow New Vegas, whereas in the case of Yugoslavia, they tried to get Albania to join their union many times. A few miscellaneous similarities include both have mixed economies, both try to form new national identities, Tandy and Tito. Both states regularly use the military against their own citizens, both are very corrupt, and interestingly enough, both states had rather significant legislation protecting women's equality in their nations. With those smaller connections out of the way, the last similarity that immediately came to mind was that both countries are under significant pressure from a far more authoritarian state around them. In the case of Yugoslavia, the USSR, as many history fans know, was infamously not on good terms with Yugoslavia for the most part, at least for the majority of Yugoslavia's existence, and they were regularly under pressure from the Soviet leaderships to get in line, so to speak. Meanwhile, in the case of Fallout, there are countless examples of the Legion putting pressure on the NCR. I mean, that conflict is kind of the main center point of New Vegas, you know what I'm saying? They're literally trying to conquer the NCR. They aren't particularly subtle about it, So yeah, another short video today. Hope you all found it interesting. The channel's Twitter and my business email, should you wish to hire me as a writer, are in the description below. You can also find the channel's PayPal down there if you wish to kindly support the channel financially in any way. And yeah, love you all, and have a good one.